thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me?
Talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
Are growing out, and the only way the roots grow out every single day and they grow stronger and they grow better is if that we all water.
What? I'm out, man.
What's up? It's Monday night. I have returned from Washington, D.C. like 5 minutes ago because it was a long-ass trip. It was fun.
But it
was a long-ass trip. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. For those of you that don't know, this is Chip and Drip here. We do this on Monday nights here on the AAT Sports Network, AAT Birds. I, of course, am Chip at Chip for the Birds. And you are Kegheads TM from the D2N Podcast Network, even though you have to change what's on the bottom of your thing because it's not that anymore. You're not D2N _ podcast. You're D2N something.
Pods.
Yeah,
D2N
Pods.
It's just easier to find me.
It is easy to find you. Max already chiming in. Go Birds. Yeah, Wen stinks. Yo. Let me tell you, we rolled down there, just our bus trip alone, with over 1,100 people. It was a damn home game. What's up, Chris? What's going on, buddy? And it was amazing. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Yeah, 20 of the buses alone were us, Max. The Sports Philly trips rolled 20 buses down. We didn't come back with everybody.
Really?
Yeah, one dude got turned up before he barely even got to the parking lot. And we don't know what happened to Big Mike. So,
question.
Answer. Tell me what you think about me.
I know we have the wheel. But
we do have the wheel.
Can we please start with the Eagles? Just paying homage to them. That's the one only request I make, that we start with the Eagles.
Okay. I can rock with that. I'm going to let my obvious outsider talk about the Birds first. See what I did there? First of
all, can you make me big? I want to be big. I need to be big on this particular segment.
That's the can you make me big is the title of your sex tape. Here we go.
We're starting early, shenanigans. Listen, last year when I said what I said about Jalen Hurts, I remember we had just started Chips and Drip. People were laughing at me, saying I didn't know what I was talking about when I said they would win 12 games last year. They won 11, I think. Mm-hmm. Everybody laughed at me, said I was crazy. Said Jalen Hurts needs to go. He stinks. Blase. He doesn't have the mechanics. He'll never be a quarterback here. Delco people mostly. Just want to throw that out there. And then
I had more of my fill.
You know.
Wait, was I supposed to make that more subtle?
No, that was beautiful. Just having these conversations with people who swore they hated him. Now you go on their social media, they're praising the dude. Like, oh my God. And, it's great to hear, but you should have had faith in him before, because God did. And my DJ Khaled voice. Everybody knew who he was going to be. I'm glad that he's balling out. There's no mistaking that he is the guy. If you don't believe he's the guy, you don't know football. He's got everybody. Everybody's getting balls. Everybody's catching balls. Quez is catching balls. AJ Brown's catching balls. Goddard's catching balls. Freaking Devontae Smith had a field day yesterday. They look just amazing. They look like a high-powered offense. And I promise you, if you stick with him, I think that we're going to be saying he might be the best quarterback in Eagles history by the time it's all over.
So I'll be honest. I was one of the guys, not that I thought that he was bad, not that I thought that he was really much. I thought that he was unproven. And as young quarterbacks go, he still had to improve on some things. The other thing that I said, though, the caveat that I said was he's the kind of guy that's going to work on it, though. So as opposed to a Carson Wentz who I'm as good as I'm going to be, and that's it, I liked Jalen Hurts' work ethic, and it has shown in absolute beauty so far this season. Now, being at the game, I did see a couple of things. So first off, we're just going to roll through the comments real quick because they're awesome. Yeah, unbelievable fan base. There isn't one better. Yes, Chris, I am going to the Dallas game on 10/16. Go Birds. Adam says yes. Yo, the Mailata blocker, he killed a guy. Yo, he killed a guy. Johnny doesn't do this show. He's Wednesday night. Yes, he should be a quarterback in all fantasy leagues, never a doubt. Okay, Mike's comment is interesting. They did look like a high-power offense for the first half of the game. But let's not gloss over the back-to-back issue, which is now this is the second straight game where they have taken their foot off of the gas. So that is something that absolutely has to be improved on. You have to put a team away. They started, especially even defensively. They scored 24 points in the first half, didn't score again. Didn't score again the rest of the game. I think that's the second straight game where they put up big numbers in the first half and then didn't score again in the second half. That is something that in these closer games, they cannot go into the second half and not put up any points. The defense, which has been absolutely lights out, and 9 sacks on Carson Wentz is a beautiful thing. That was a team that came out ready to prove something. But again, and this is more on the scheme rather than the execution of the scheme, but playing off the entire second half. Like Terry McLaurin should not have gone over 100 yards. All those yards were free gimme yards. All of those yards were free gimme yards. So again, you have to keep up with that aggressiveness because we should be able to get to a point where Gardner Minshew got into that game yesterday.
Okay.
You were up 24-0 at halftime. You should have been able to get to a point where Gardner Minshew went into that game.
I don't think in any way, shape, or form are we looking for Gardner Minshew to get in. And I think that they're trying to hold that part back. And if you're being honest, we all know they're always gunning for the other guy. No matter how good Jalen Hurts is going to play, if Gardner Minshew gets in the game, people are going to be let's play the backup.
I'm not saying it for that. I'm saying because you look around this NFL where Tua got knocked out and was allowed to be kept in the game, which we're going to talk about tonight. Don't you worry. You look at a team like the Patriots who are now without their quarterback. You look at a team like the Cowboys who are playing Cooper Rush. You look at it. You look all throughout the NFL and quarterbacks. Jimmy Garoppolo is a starting quarterback in San Francisco. Justin Fields should be a backup somewhere, but he's still putting up garbage numbers for the Bears. You are looking in the NFL at quarterbacks getting hurt left and right. So logic to me says, why play a little bit softer when in reality you can get your quarterback the hell out of the game because you hung a 40 spot on a bad Commander's team?
Okay, so let me unpack that. You said a lot, and I'm going to unpack a lot of it. If you watch the game from an outsider standpoint, yes, you were at the game, so there was more things that we saw look like taking the foot off the gas, but it looks like they're punching people in the mouth early, and then they're just putting it in cruise control. And you don't want to be showing too many looks. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be showing everything that's in your bag. So if you can take your foot off the gas and kind of just cruise control that thing to win, like they still won what? They only let them score 1 touchdown, right?
24-8. Yeah, 1 touchdown. We gave up a safety.
So, I mean, I know, Mike is our boy, and I know he wants greatness, but greatness looks a lot different. They've only scored, I think you've only had 3 or 4 touchdowns scored on you all season. So,
well, no, the Lions had a decent game against us, and then we shut down the last 2. When they started playing defensively more aggressively.
Listen, the Lions are a lot better than people think. They've already beaten some people. So
they won, and they've been in every game. They've been in every game.
So let's not diminish the Lions. I think the Lions are a lot better than we think. And on top of them being a lot better than we think, I think the Eagles are a lot better than we all expected, especially defensively. With all the pieces they got, they're still really young. Jordan Davis is a freaking monster. That man he pushed a guy into another guy.
The defense has been so good, they haven't even had to play him that much. Nakobe Dean has played 3 snaps this season.
Yeah.
Because TJ Edwards is playing as one of the best linebackers in football right now.
Think about that.
I mean, James Bradbury and Darius Slay. And I ragged on James Bradbury after week 1 because I thought he missed some open tackles. But as far as coverage goes, he's been lights out. Him and Darius Slay are ranked like number 1 and number 2 right now as far as coverage goes. But again, my only thing is because this Eagles, let me tell you, Jalen Hurts did not start out great yesterday. He locked in pretty quickly, though. Like his first quarter was shaky, and then the second quarter he played exceptional. So I am definitely at this point over the moon excited for what this team is and what this team looks like they're going to be. There's a lot of people talking that we're, the best team in football right now. And, we're one of only 3 undefeated teams left, hopefully only 2 after tonight. But again, there are flaws. There are flaws. There are things that they have to improve on. But I was off from school today, so I sat down and I listened to Nick Sirianni's press conference. Holy hell, I love that guy.
I mean, what's not to like? I mean, think about it. Go back. Let's do a little bit of. Let's go back a little bit. So I like to reflect on where we've come from. So this was a team maybe 2 years ago that people thought was going to be in this rebuilding stage for decades. They thought they were in quarterback purgatory.
Yeah.
Even until last week, people were literally saying that they needed to hold on to draft picks for a quarterback. Well, what are we thinking now? Can we stop talking about getting rid of the quarterback and start thinking about other needs that we need to make, like shoring up offensive line, shoring up, maybe getting a more steady back?
And you know what it is? It's like you look at, and I'm just going to go to the 2 Alabama guys. You look at Tua and you look at Jalen. And these are 2 guys who had question marks all up and down them. And I still don't think Tua has proven a lot, but he's proving it. He's proving me wrong. Why? Because they gave him weapons. Why is Jalen Hurts proving everybody wrong? Because they gave him weapons rather than just going out and spending millions on court. Russell Wilson is playing like absolute dog shit this season. Why? Because they spent all their money on him rather than the weapons needed around him.
So that's that player development piece. You know what I'm saying? Like we always talk about it with the Sixers, the player development piece, getting guys to, guys that you draft, the farm system in the Phillies. We always talk about player development because if you can player develop, you'll never be out of the race. Like they've done a great job getting Jalen Hurts up to speed. Now, I'll be first to admit, like he wasn't up to snuff, but I always knew that if you can run the ball, you already got a leg up on like 90% of guys because when you're not making the best throws, you can always run it. Like last week, maybe he had the run where he took like 3 guys on his back into the touchdown. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's just like the thing, you can't teach talent. Like you just can't teach it. Like the mechanics was where Jalen Hurts was lacking. Like he threw a great deep ball. He still throws a great deep ball. And he gives these guys a chance no matter what. Like he has 3 monsters on his like in his receiving core that it makes it hard not to look good as long as you're putting the ball where you're supposed to. You know what I'm saying? It makes it
right.
Yo, go get it. You know what I'm saying?
And last year, he didn't necessarily. I mean, he had Devontae Smith, but Devontae Smith was a rookie. I mean, he is locked in with Devontae Smith. He is locked in with A.J. Brown. And yesterday, he didn't run them to victory. And, that was his MO. Well, he'll just run you to victory. He's their extra running back. He's their lead runner. He didn't run the ball yesterday. He passed them to victory. Now, again, trying to stay objective, trying not to, put all my chips in saying, hey, this is the Super Bowl team.
No pun intended.
Even though I'm starting to feel it. I'm starting to feel it because of who are saying these things. But Jalen Hurts, as I said, did not have a great first half. But as a leader does, he didn't let the previous drive shut him out. He didn't let the previous drive weigh him down. And Carson Wentz, you could see and hear it early on. I am not joking. That crowd was 60-40 Eagles. That crowd, my wife just chimed in. Being there and physically watching them, the feeling was incredible. That crowd was 60-40 Eagles. And every single time Carson got sacked, it got louder and louder and louder. And as Adam said, Carson holds the ball way too long. And you know what? It's what bit him in the ass yesterday. He played like garbage. He was 3 of 10 at halftime yesterday. He had allowed more sack yards than yards passed for.
Yeah, it's remarkable to see what this defense has done in the last 2-3 games. Like just the last 2 games, like they were like almost shutouts. You know what I'm saying? Like when you got a team that's flying around and they look good, like Darius Slay, like he's a problem. Like he's literally, you can't throw to his side, so that halfens the field in half, and then you got the rest of these guys flying around. Like guys that have rolled their time back. BG still playing at a very high level after being
Brandon Graham flat out said today that this team is much more talented than the 2017 team. So just put that in perspective. Brandon Graham won a Super Bowl with the 2017 team, and he came out flat out and said this team is more talented than that group.
Well, look. Okay, so you said that Kobe Dean has only played 3 snaps.
3 snaps this season.
Okay, Davis hasn't played that much either, and you pair him with Hargraves and Cox, dude. Like this team looks crazy. Like it looks crazy. It looks absolutely nuts. Like, and it's not. And you're not playing in the best division in football. Every game is not a dog fight.
But I don't want to hear that because, and I'm so tired of hearing that because the Eagles are undefeated right now. The Giants are currently, until this game ends, undefeated. We played against the Lions, who, as you said, have improved. We played against the Vikings, who will make the playoffs this season. And we played against the Commanders. The
Vikings will not make the playoffs.
The Vikings will absolutely make the playoffs. I don't say where they'll rank, but they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to get that shit right. They're going to fix it. But point blank, you can't control who's on your schedule. And the Eagles have come out and beat who is on their schedule.
Right. The issue isn't that we're saying that the Eagles aren't good, but we're saying when it gets down to their season where they're like those games are more strategic and you got to win them. They're probably favored in every single one of those games, like by multiple.
They are. We are the only team favored as of right now to win against every opponent we play the rest of the way. And, and Johnny Higgins and I, we have a conversation about Jalen and Carson, and, we got quarterback conversations.
Oh, Johnny, good to see you, bro.
Johnny says here, yesterday was a good example of how much confidence matters. Carson still has talent, but his confidence is shot. Now, on the 2.5-hour bus ride down, we watched the 2017 DVD, right? We watched 2017 Eagles DVD. Let me tell you, I forgot how good Carson Wentz was before the injury. He was good. And you rushed him back, and he has not been the same since.
Who rushed him?
We had on the Eagles fan base and himself. Because he didn't want it to be Nick Foles' team coming out the gate the next year.
Right, exactly. That's not the franchise. They were fine.
And the concussion and the broken back injuries and the knee. Like, he has not been right. He has not been the same guy. And he won't be the same guy. And I forget who said it, but I thought it was very poignant. And someone said to me, and it may have been Lake Lewis, the guy we had on from the ABC affiliate from Washington on Wednesday. He said that this is Carson's last chance to be a franchise quarterback. He can still be a starter. He can still be a starter, and he probably will be for a couple more years. But this is his last chance to be a franchise quarterback where a team is built around him.
Listen, I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to give it a whole beat about Carson Wentz. Dude is trash can juice. Like, I know you guys want to be nice to him and all this and all that.
I don't. I had fuck Wentz on my eyes the other day.
No, I'm talking about like Johnny. Like Johnny's the guy who calls and comes in. He's got like weird Carson like phobia or something like where he just like he has to like defend the dude. I don't care about 2017. We're like 5 or 6 years removed from that at this point. Like 2017 was a long time ago. I don't remember what I was doing in 2017. Like
we were winning a Super Bowl.
You guys did win a Super Bowl, but you didn't win with that guy. You won with the other guy. Like, so,
but here's the thing. We didn't win with that guy, but we don't get to it without him. We don't. We do not get to the Super Bowl if Carson Wentz doesn't have an MVP regular season.
Chip, I'm going to tell you this, and I want you to hear me loud and clear. This is for every Eagles fan. You guys had a lot of other things happen that was just destined for you to win. You got the double doink happening that year. Like things.
No, that was the next year. That was the next year. Nope. That was next year.
Bears.
Double doink did not
play Bears.
In the next year. We beat the Bears and then got our asses handed to us in the next game.
Who did you guys beat going to the Super Bowl? Pretty sure you beat the Bears.
No, we beat the Vikings. We beat the hell out of the Vikings, and we beat the Falcons. We beat the Falcons. We were the number 1 seed.
So you get the Falcons.
Yep.
The Vikings.
And we were in. We had the bye. That was, remember when top 2 got byes? So we didn't have to play the wild card. We played the division and the conference. We were in the Super Bowl.
I just feel like that's wrong. I know you're probably right, but it feels like it's
I
wrong.
just watched the DVD yesterday. I can tell you for 100% certainty I'm right.
I'm with it. All I'm saying is a lot of things had to happen. You got the number 1 seed. Okay, great. I'm not sure Carson Wentz wins those games, though. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure.
Wait, because he chokes under pressure. He chokes under pressure.
Falcons and Vikings, you're right. I'm taking it.
I'm
taking it for a win.
I know I'm right.
Maybe if you didn't just watch the DVD, maybe I had more confidence.
You might have had a shot, but I literally watched it yesterday.
Okay, fair enough. All I'm saying is, I don't think you win it with wins. I mean, as much as he's the MVP and people that the MVP that was never won, I guess he got shafted.
I'm not saying that we win a Super Bowl with Carson Wentz. I am saying we don't get into the position to win a Super Bowl without him. We don't, as Julie said here, he got us to 11-2. And it was a dominant 11-2. We didn't lose a game for 3 months in a row. And then he gets hurt. There's the game where Foles kind of plays a little well. Then he plays the following game, gets his ass handed to him. And there's the question marks. The game against the Cowboys to end the season is a bunch of backups, including Nate Sudfeld. And then we're in the playoffs. Yeah, double doink happened, which led us to the Saints game where Alshon drops the pass.
Fair enough. I'll give you that.
But either way, this Eagles team is now putting people on notice. People like Michael Irvin, who I can't stand, is saying the Birds had something. Colin Coward.
He said that last year, though, too, by the way. I wanted to throw that out there. Michael Irvin.
About the Eagles?
About Jalen Hurts. He's had very high praise for Jalen Hurts since the beginning. So I will go ahead and give him that. He's got that type of candor. Like, that's why I really do respect Michael Irvin, because he doesn't let that Cowboys, referendum, stop him from making, educated decisions. I mean, he's a jerk, but other than that, it is what it is.
Johnny putting the punctuation on his point here, and I have to agree with what he's saying. We have one Super Bowl season, and the guy took 70% of the snaps of the greatest season in franchise history. He's never going to hate the guy. He's clearly not the same, but I don't hate him. I can understand that. But I also have to say that choosing between Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts right now, it is no contest. I take Jalen Hurts over anybody in this NFL right now, except for maybe Josh Allen, and even that's starting to waver.
Why are people okay? And this is what, John, you can answer this question for yourself. I'm gonna let you do this. I'm gonna let you do the honor. Why is it that in all people just forget that the dude legitimately may have done that in 2017, but the next remainder of his career, he gave Philly a black eye for the rest of the time that he was here.
True.
He was pissed off about Nick Foles winning it. That became his Achilles heel. Let's not make it about the injury. Let's make it about his unwillingness to be a teammate. How about we make it about that?
His unwillingness to improve. He flat out had said, I'm the quarterback that I am, and I'm not going to change it. That's what got me here. Whereas Jalen Hurts is I've got to do better. Hold on, we got to go. You and I got to go swimming real quick because we have to be above Teal's comment right here. People need to stop saying this wouldn't be the Super Bowl without him. It's exhausting. The points we made. We like him. We appreciate him. It's time to move on. It's time to move on. Now, we have one more opportunity before we move on. I am very proud of how much I embarrassed my wife yesterday at the game.
No, do not be proud of that. I was ready to knock you right out.
I acted like an a-hole. And it was...
An a-hole is nicer than how you were acting. I couldn't even focus on the game because you were so embarrassing. And no one was going to protect you if there was a fight.
There wasn't going to be a fight. It was all Eagles fans. It was all Eagles fans.
You were going to get your ass kicked.
Yep.
Yes, except for me, who was stuck next to Commanders fans.
Who left their credit cards.
Yeah, they probably had to get up out of there. It was embarrassing.
They did. We get one more opportunity. And I said I would love to be at the link when he returns, but the problem is he's going to be hurt before that. He's not going to play in that game.
After getting sacked 9 times, I'm surprised he's not on injured reserve right now.
Yeah, he's hurt. All right, Eagles rock to the wheel. Now, if we land on Eagles, then we will. Well, real quick, if it lands on Eagles, we'll just focus on the NFC portion of it because I got a couple things I want to discuss on that.
Damn, that was 25 minutes. Wow.
Yeah. Okay, we got to talk about Tua. Because while the dude is playing amazing, let me just say right now, That wasn't a back seize. His back wasn't bugging him. He was straight up fucking concussed, and they let him back in the game. And now he's not in concussion protocol. And the NFL is opening an investigation. Tua got knocked the fuck out. You have been around sports. Can you explain to me how he was not pulled from that game?
I'm going to be honest with you. Before there was concussion protocols, cats play like that all the time. Like, it's not like that's uncommon. Like, we've only seen, like, when there's like a obvious, like, concussion, head-to-head contact, then, okay, of course. But, like, they were able to say that it was his back, and really there's nobody to prove it other than his medical department, really.
Right, but what happened? What happened to the impartial doctor that's supposed to be giving this test?
I'm with it. All I'm saying is, listen, Chip, that's what I'm trying to tell you. People are up in arms for something that does not concern us. Like, what does it matter if Tua wants to go in and play? Like, to be real with you, you're not protecting him from himself because he broke his damn hip for crying out loud. You think he's going to miss more time when he's got 2 major weapons? I'm going to be real with you. I'm not even mad about it. I'm really not. But
again, you can't, scream safety and scream concussion protocols, and we're wearing bubble wrap on helmets in the preseason, and we're trying to change the whole idea of heads up tackling and peewee football. It trickles all the way down to peewee football. And now you're going to let it be that this guy who openly fell in the biggest game of the week, is allowed to walk back on. And I know like a lot of people aren't crazy about Emmanuel Acho, but he went on to TikTok last night and he said, I got my bell rung during a game, and the doctor came to me and he asked me 2 questions when I clear concussion protocol. 1, what day of the week is it? He goes, I'm playing football, so Sunday. He goes, and 2, who's the president? He goes, and that was easy because the guy had been the president for 3 years. He got home and was diagnosed with a concussion. So I don't want to hear this whole impartial doctor thing. What happened yesterday is everything that's wrong with football, where it is, we're going to speak a good game, and then we're going to let the players be totally endangering to themselves. We're going to talk a good game, but bottom line is the dollar. And you see it with Tua in this game because why? Because it wasn't supposed to be the backup versus Allen. It was supposed to be Tua versus Josh Allen. You see it with an 11-game suspension for Deshaun Watson instead of a 12-game suspension. Why? So Deshaun Watson can play against the Texans. The NFL does not care about these players. Point blank, period. It was a travesty what happened yesterday. I'm glad Tua wanted to play. I'm glad that he's a fighter like that. The NFL shouldn't have allowed it.
I'm looking at I'm on YouTube and I'm about to watch the hit that took him out.
I'm not even worried about the hit. I'm worried about his reaction to the hit.
Okay, wait a minute. So I just watched it. Let's everybody calm down. I didn't actually get to watch the game because over here in South Carolina, they don't let us watch all the crap, so we don't really get to see it. So this is my first time because I had school today. This is my first time seeing the hit. Dude was pushed. Like, he was shoved. His head hit the ground, but his back hit first. So it could have went either way. Like, you can't take a guy for hitting his head with a helmet on his head. Now, he didn't get a head-to-head, bro. So it's like, come on, man. Like, I don't know. We can't speak on if the dude could get up and walk away or not. Like,
head slam ground. He stands up, can't walk straight.
Listen, I hear you. But we're literally worried about some shit that does not apply to us. That we like. What does it matter? The dude went and he played and he balled afterward. Like they won. What are we doing?
Right, but then you look at like the bigger picture. Like, okay, fine. Don't talk head injuries. Justin Herbert with his torn rib cartilage shouldn't have played yesterday. What did he need? He needed to get an injection into his rib cartilage from the Chargers team doctor, which we all know if you ask Tyrod Taylor how that goes. Literally puncture. And the doctors are trying to convince him otherwise, saying, hey, you know what? You might want to look long-term rather than just playing in this game. He's like, nope, I'm going to play. What happens? They lose 38-10.
So, okay. So my thing is, he plays, right?
Mm-hmm.
Guys have been playing with injuries since the beginning of time. This is football, not tennis. Like, if you guys want to put them in
I know as an Eagles fan, my go-to line is tape them up. Like, I understand. Yeah. That's logic.
I'm a Steelers fan. Tape their fingers up. Let's go. Broken fingers or not, tape them up. Put a glove on the hand. Whatever. Like, You can't. We're wanting this game to not be as barbaric as it really is. We want to make it seem like we're playing this game with fairies and lilies and daisies and Field of Dreams, when really, in all honesty, these are grown men, and he has to play, and he's going to play football regardless if we tell him to or not. Because all they're going to do is, if they put him on the protocol, concussion protocol stuff, it can happen weeks after you have a concussion. Like, that's crazy. So even if that is, like, you would have to give a guy 4 months off to make sure that he doesn't have concussed situation.
But again, like what Max is saying here, but we've seen what the outcome is with these guys who start playing consistently with head injuries.
Yes, but honestly, you can't stop it. They're playing a sport that you literally throw your head into people. Like, it's literally a way that your head's a projectile. Unfortunately, if you guys don't like it, don't watch it. Like, watch tennis. There's no physical.
I love it. I just have never seen a guy fall like that after a hit, and they're just like, go back in.
Do you remember? I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember probably like 7 years ago, Ware breaks his leg? The kid from Louisville. He breaks it. One of the most gruesome injuries in the world. When stuff like that happens, then okay. Freak injury. Joe Theismann. Crap injury. Alex Smith, crap injury. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are just injuries that you got to get. These dudes are playing a barbaric game, and they want to get back out there. Let's stop putting them in bubble wrap. Let's let them play football that they get paid to do. Like, we can say that it's money that they're going to make, but honestly, we all care, because if that's the one game you get to go to, Tua doesn't play, you're pissed. I don't care what you say. We end up getting to see a great outcome, a great battle to the end, and it was a great game. So I don't know, everybody's up in arms. Let these people play football.
Right, let them play football. Let them play football, and I'm not going to argue with that point. But there's so many other people with their hands in the cookie jar. Like, there's the guy who's got to call down. There's the team doctor. There's this. There's that. So the NFL is opening an investigation. Are you saying that flat out none of those guys should have consequences if it turns out that he has a concussion? Like, fine, he went back in. We're not going to punish him. But all these other people didn't do their jobs.
I mean,
and Julie, thanks for tuning in. We'll make sure we're back on Wednesday night with the whole squad, and then we have the weekly pickoff. So thanks for tuning in, Julie.
For real. I'm not saying you don't get mad at them, but let's just be honest about this thing. When you go to the doctor, I tell my students this all the time. When you go to the doctor, the guy who's fixing you or you're meeting doesn't have his GPA on his degree that's on the wall. It just has a degree. So regardless if it's the guy that's going to be a third, whoever said, hey, listen, it's all objective. If I saw you running and I saw you talking to me, you seem just fine. That's subjective. Right. If I ask you, what's your middle name? You already know your freaking middle name. But if I ask you something more in depth, like, hey, tell me about rocket science, and you start explaining something to me that's not rocket science, I know you're concussed. Like, but they're not. But
that's what those baseline tests are that they make all players take now.
So are we really caring about concussions, or we just care about what it looks like?
And that's my frustration. That's my frustration, because clearly it's winning and losing. And what happened yesterday shouldn't have happened. All right, we're giving it a spin. What we got next? Okay. I love this story. I love this story. Albert Pujols hits number 699 and 700 on the same night. I remember when Albert Pujols came into the league, and I thought, this is going to be the guy that breaks it. This is going to be the guy that breaks it. And he has a couple of years where he struggles. He has a couple of years where he's got injuries. He goes out to Anaheim, which might not be the most hitter-friendly park. He goes back to St. Louis. He goes to Albert Pujols is everything that's right with baseball to me. Max, I agree. I wish he could have done it in St. Louis. But the fact that he is now one of only 4 guys in the 700 club, to me, is absolutely incredible. I love Albert Pujols. I love that his career was extended because of playing DH for all those years. I love that the National League has now brought the DH over there, because you're extending the greatness of some of these players. And that's all. I just wanted to give Albert Pujols. Yeah, he didn't even ask for the 700 ball back. He didn't care. Albert Pujols, to me, will go down as one of the greatest players in baseball history, obviously just statistically alone. But dude is just awesome. You could tell from when he started playing. And what I love about him is he's part of this core group of dudes with Yadier Molina and Adam Wainwright, who played for the Cardinals the majority of their career. And they just, I love that. I wish we could have had that with Ryan Howard, Chase Utley, and Jimmy Rollins. But they all kind of went their separate ways because like the DH rule, because they wanted to win different things, because of injuries to Ryan Howard, because of the shift and his batting average going down. But again, Albert Pujols was always that dude to me. Congrats on 700. I just wanted to spend a couple minutes talking about that. And I'm looking at baseball now, and I don't see anybody who's getting close to that. The longevity that was required is absurd. And that's all I got to say about that.
I think you did a good job. I'm inspired. Oh, let's go.
Nope.
Oh.
Oh, my God. Came out today. They're bagging the Pro Bowl.
Thank God.
Finally. First off,
lowest viewership of anything NFL related.
The Pro Bowl sucks.
Oh, yeah.
The Pro Bowl is awful. It is the only thing I really remember about the Pro Bowl is Sean Taylor murdering a guy. A punter.
Oh, yeah.
In the Pro Bowl.
Okay. Oh, I thought you was like trying to make accusation he was a murderer.
No. Punter was like, oh, I'm going to run the ball. And Sean Taylor's like, you're dead. And kills him on the sideline. And they're like, that's not what we do in the Pro Bowl. No. It was way overdue. I remember growing up, Pro Bowl weekend. First off, it was always cool that it was in Hawaii. Then they started moving it. So let's go back to that. But there was always the cool skills competition. It was like the quarterback skills competition. You got to see who really could do these things.
They still have.
And then they got rid of that. Barely. Now they got like a sand flag football game.
They don't. Okay, because they don't want guys getting hurt. That makes sense. Because it's like
agreed.
Listen, I'm gonna be
because
real.
Football's physical.
Football is a physical sport, but we want to put them in bubble wrap. Remember, so it's to be completely honest. I mean, my exact thing: can we ban all-star games, voting in general, accomplishment in sports? I mean, listen, let's be real. The NBA All-Star Game is still dope, especially the last.
I love the NBA All-Star Game. I love Saturday Night Skills Night.
Yeah, I mean, even when they do that now, the new format, they're actually playing hard at the end because they want to win the money. So it's like it is making it fun. If they could find a way to make NFL fun without those guys killing each other, then probably it will probably be fun. But it just can't be. There's too many injuries that happen, from that. These NBA guys are different. And even with MLB, like their All-Star Weekend, I remember the home run derby and all that stuff. Is that the same time?
Yep, I still watch
really
it.
Cool to watch. Yeah, that's really cool.
I watch the home run derby, and now, by the way, they've ruined the home run derby. So let me not even get started on that. It used to be you get 10 swings. Now you get like 4.5 minutes to just keep swinging. It's absurd. It's ridiculous. But the problem is, and why you can't ban all-star games and voting and like stuff like that, is because it's tied to the players' contracts, where if you're named to a Pro Bowl, if you're named to an all-star game, if you're named to this, you get incentives. So the players won't allow for it to be going totally. But at the same time, they don't want to play in it. So they'll be named to the Pro Bowl, and they'll be like, oh, I am rehabbing my pulled hamstring. I cannot play.
Yeah. I mean, and then we all know what it is. But the simple fact that, like, the dunk contest needs to stay in the NBA. Like, if they could.
It's the games. It's the skills that we like.
Yeah, just do the skill challenges. That's what it is. Maybe they should do an NBA All-Star skills challenges, like only, like just NFL skill challenges only.
Well, now they have the skills challenges, and there's going to be a flag football game.
That's trash. Maybe that's why they canned it.
Well, no, that's what they're about to do.
Oh, it's the worst. I don't care about watching flag football.
Jason Kelsey tweeted out. He goes, maybe there should be a hot dog eating contest. That always gets people to watch.
Fair enough. I'm down. I'll watch it.
I love me some
the Kelseys. I want to see the Kelseys go at it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to see them two go at a hot dog eating contest. That'd be fun to watch.
Yeah. I want to see, like, the Kelsey's mom, like, make a variety of foods and they blindfold them. And whichever kid knows their mom's cooking the best. Like, I want to see, like, that kind of stuff.
Yes,
like, make it fun. Make it enjoyable. Make it something to watch.
I'm with it. Or you let your brother hit the other brother or we find out really about the Diggs brothers. We find out who's the best. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. Here you go. NFL Big Brother. We're literally all the siblings who are in the NFL have to stay in a house for a week. Pro Bowl week. Wow.
That would be amazing. That's must-see TV.
I would watch that.
Even let's throw some of the NBA brothers in there. I mean, there's some dudes I like. The Antetokounmpo brothers, throw them in there. You know what I'm saying?
Giannis would just tell them all what to do.
I mean, fair enough, but still, it'd be good to watch.
Like I said, it's just the NFL All-Star game is it's a joke. The Pro Bowl is officially done, toast, and a goodbye. JD, would you like to start?
Well, I never thought you'd ask. Of course, but of course.
Go ahead. Here, I'll even give you this. Go ahead, enjoy.
Poor Ben Simmons and all of his angst finally speaks to not only, like, he could have did this anywhere, but he did it with the honorable JJ Redick. Retired shooter, played for the Sixers for several years. Just an all-around good guy, you know what I'm saying? Just all-around good guy. Ben Simmons cracks the code and basically says what's going on with him. So all this whole time, he basically comes through and says, he basically says he doesn't hate Philly, and he still has real estate in Philly.
No, he doesn't.
That's what he said. He said he still has an apartment. So I'm pretty sure the house that his brother lives in is actually his. So, I mean, that's just being real. So he probably does still own property. Just throwing this out there for all of the fans who said that he didn't have mental health issue. It had to be true. I knew it had to be true.
Nope.
It had to be true. And to be real with you, JJ Redick also co-signed it and said they threw him under the bus multiple times that year, which they did. So if you don't want to admit that, I guess it is what it is. But he was the fall guy. And I still believe it to this day. Ben Simmons is going to have a great season this year. And we got skinny James Harden.
We do skinny James Harden. My turn.
Go ahead, please. Are you going to play the video?
I'm not going to play the video because I'm not giving him any more real estate in Philly.
He's going to have it regardless. He lives free in there.
Let me be really clear about something. Okay? Let me be really clear about something. Ben Simmons is an absolute joke. Okay? I'm so glad that he got put on the JJ Redick show and was asked some of the easiest questions imaginable. Okay? Easy ass questions. There was no pressing him. Hey, what about the time when you got kicked out of practice? What about this? What about that?
He talked about that. Hold on. He talked about that. Chip. Did you not watch the entire interview?
I didn't because I don't need to.
You can't,
but I can tell you when. But again, Austin Rivers, again, Doc's son, so I understand there's some shit there. Flat out's like, you believe this guy? Because it's not. It's not true. Point blank, everything that he's saying. It was a major PR stunt. It just looked like the easier play. No, it's zero accountability. He was asked, I want to say just last week, or maybe earlier this week, about, well, how's your shooting going? Have you improved? Because he released another gym video. I was trying to do, so here's the official quote from the practice thing. I was trying to do the right thing, and I was just not in that place to play. I just couldn't do it. I actually spoke to Doc before practice. I was like, Doc, I'm not ready mentally. I'm not ready. Please understand that. He's like, well, I'm going to put you in anyway. Fair. I'm getting fined for not lifting weights, but physically, I'm one of the strongest guys on the team. Obviously, I didn't handle things the right way, but also the team didn't either.
He's not wrong about that either. I see no lies. I detect no lies. It's not like he said F Philly, F the fan base, they dumb. Like he didn't say that. The issue that he has with the 76ers, not with the city. And that's why I don't understand any of this to begin with. Like the issue that he has is with the management, which we know the management of the Sixers actually stinks. They're not good. They basically made this.
Agree on that. Agree.
So all we're saying is his issue and angst is with Doc Rivers, the way they handled it, and what happened afterward. It's not with the city. It's not with the fans. I don't understand why people are up in arms. And to be honest with you, he's not our problem anymore. So if he comes out there and he plays bad for the rest of his career, he doesn't belong to us anymore. Now we got skinny James Harden.
You need to understand that because we're living in a time now of the revenge tours, which is just so nice. And so far, the revenge tours, I mean, you can travel this all the way back to when Scott Rowland was a Philly, did some shit talking, and went to the Cardinals. He was never accepted here again. He was hated here the rest of his career. Right?
Fair.
This is a team that is and a fan base that is loyal right up until you spurn us.
But what did he do to spurn you guys? That's my question. I'm a Sixers fan, and I don't feel the same.
It's the same logic as the Carson Wentz stuff, where I am what I am, and I refuse to do anything otherwise, even if it's not working.
Right, but this is the issue, because you got guys like Johnny who remembers 2017. Did you guys forget that the dude's like a 4-time All-Star? Did we forget that?
But we just spent 10 minutes talking about how the All-Star accolades don't mean shit. They elected Klay Thompson to an All-Star game when he didn't play in 12 months.
Right. All I'm saying is, this type of stuff still matters, because that's how you get more money. That matters. Like, it matters that you are Rookie of the Year. You think Rookie of the Year is something they just gave him? I think he was the Rookie of the Year, honestly.
And his sophomore year. Ben didn't try. That's why we love effort, which is why we love TJ McConnell. We also loved him for all the white reasons. He actually tried and improved 100%, right? But Ben Simmons is still a douche 100%. He could have been a top 5 player. He was drafted as a top 5 player. We put him in the process with somebody who we expected to win championships, and he went, nope, this is too hard. I'm out. That's why we have hatred toward him. We have hatred towards Jalen Reagor. We have hatred toward Carson Wentz. There's no Flyers we can really talk about because the Flyers all suck. But again, until we see them fail, like Carson Wentz is going to get absolutely shit on the rest of his career here, 100%. 100%. Because of where he was drafted, the expectations that came with him, and how he left. Jalen Reagor the other day posted like another photo on Twitter, and nobody can comment unless you know him, because he can't handle the tough shit. And it was he had like a Bible quote. I'll say it was like John 14:6, and everybody tagged it. It was like, "Thou shalt not catch." Like, they are ripping this guy a new asshole.
Right. Okay. I understand that. Listen, you guys are proving the point that I'm trying to make. That 90% of the issue has nothing to do with the player. It really doesn't. It really has nothing to do. It's just that is the persona of Philly. Like, that is just the persona. So at the end of the day, like, how much has it served you? Like, it hasn't served us very well. Even though I pull for the Sixers. Honestly, we're the Houston Rockets right now, basically. And we're going to be served on this platter because it was handled wrong. But nobody's talking shit about the way that the organization is handling the Sixers. Like, they all just want to throw stones at the player. Well, to be honest with you, last time I checked, if my job treats me like shit and I leave the job, nobody's giving me nasty hate mail. I leave my job. I say I don't want to work there anymore. I walk out. Like, the issue with the whole 76er Philly / organization shit is that when you go to your job, if you're bad at your job, you're the only one that knows you're bad at your job. C's get degrees. This only problem with this guy is he had a problem with his boss because his coworkers were talking shit about him behind his back. He then goes to work. He cannot fight them. He cannot fight them or do anything else like that. So he just shuts down and says, I don't want to be here anymore. Everybody would handle that way. The organization, who was supposed to be a bunch of adults, since we all say that Ben Simmons is the kid in the situation, they didn't handle it much better. It was this whole whatever weird situation. They tried to trade him twice for the guy that they finally ended up getting. Like, what is it? Like, how does that look in the long run?
It did look terrible. And 100% it is an issue with the management. It's an issue. But my issue with Ben Simmons is Mike hit it exactly right here. He posts videos of himself, quote unquote, improving, and then it never translated to the court. And then for him to cry boo-hoo, they're being mean to me, you put yourself in this position. Mike is saying here, it's like a mechanic showing you a video of how to fix your car, and then he doesn't fix your car.
Right, but a mechanic is a mechanic, and Ben Simmons is just a basketball player. Like, the only issue, like I said, is you don't go to someone's job when they're really bad at it, and you don't make videos. The guy wasn't even there the one time, and they were chanting, fuck Ben. Like, at what point did this kid want to ever be here again? Like, y'all need to wake the hell up. Like, you are asking someone to take verbal abuse from you after they really don't want to be here anymore. I wouldn't want to be here either. Not somebody else put in the comments, since everybody's wanting to talk it, put in the comments, if I came to your job, your bosses told you were shit at your job, would you want to go in the next day? for whatever amount of money is. I don't because it pays for everything. That's all.
Refuses to play, can't because of back pain. Still parties it up. Still parties it up with that LA lifestyle with his millions of dollars. That's my other issue. Like, I don't make millions of dollars on my job. I work my ass off for my thousands of dollars that I make a year.
That's a society problem. That's not a Ben Simmons problem.
Agreed. But we look at sports as an escape. And some of the theme of the rest of tonight's show is, we got to stop looking at these people like they are society's moral compass. And you and I have had this conversation before. But if we look at some of these people as the moral compass, holy shit. Ben Simmons was supposed to be part of the saving group of the Sixers that spent a whole year tanking to get his ass.
Yep. And I'm here to actually take this. You actually kind of made my last point about Ben Simmons. The issue is people are salty because of the process and having to deal through that, and having to deal with being bad, and having to deal with them paying $4 for tickets to go sit in basically on courtside seats, and they had to deal with that, so they remember that. But not so very long ago, the same people that were not in there were talking about how bad the Sixers were and weren't going to games. You can't pack the stadiums now and tell me how good the Sixers are now because you had to deal with the process. It just didn't work for that player, because I promise you, if the dude has any stones about him, he's going to destroy the Sixers when they play them for the rest of his career, because he's 6'10", he's still a monster. And as much as we don't want to admit it, the guy still got more talent in his left thumb than PJ Tucker. So, I mean, honestly,
Agreed that the Sixers now are would be really great if they still had him on the team 100% from a basketball standpoint.
Yes.
And I said this flat. I said defensively, I never really wanted to get rid of Ben Simmons. But I also said when all this was starting to go on that if it came between Matisse Thybulle and Ben Simmons, I would take Matisse Thybulle right now. Why? Because he's willing to improve his game. He has spent all summer working with shooters. I haven't seen one video of shooting coaches with Matisse Thybulle. But I trust that he's getting better. And he's already a defensive beast.
He's not a defensive beast. He's a decent player defensively. We thought he was a defensive beast. That's what, because he
did get cooked a little bit this past season.
We kind of got, and that's the thing, because when we first saw Matisse Thybulle, he was playing back up to Ben, who was already D'ing somebody up. So yes, I understand all the stuff about Ben. Everybody hates him. Okay, cool, whatever. What happens when you give the kid you bullied a gun? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm telling you.
Wait. If it's Ben Simmons, he doesn't shoot.
No, but he could. That's all I'm saying. That's
sorry, I don't like to make jokes like that, but that one was too easy.
That was pretty much a layup. I thought about
that. That was a great setup, which Ben Simmons wouldn't take either. Speaking of holy shit stories.
Oh, shooting your shot. Golly.
The head coach of the Boston Celtics has been suspended. Let me rephrase that. The head coach of the NBA championship appearing Boston Celtics has been suspended for this upcoming. What's that?
Keep it up. I like it.
Has decided to he got himself suspended for the entire season because he.
Please, can I do it?
Don't go ahead, because I'm trying to find the PC way of saying it.
Oh, it's great. So basically, Ime Udoka has a wife, basically fiance, who is Nia Long, who has been fined my entire life, like my entire being in existence. His fiance has been fined. Like, I mean, like fine. Like, they make songs about Nia Long. He decides that he wants to go and have an inappropriate relationship with not one lady, not two ladies, but it looks like now there's a smorgasbord of ladies that he's had inappropriate relationships with, all who now have very prominent jobs within their organization.
Inside the same organization where he's the head coach. Continue.
Oh, yes, it's perfect. So I know everyone's been up in arms. I've been waiting on this because, I've been waiting. people were up in arms about Deshaun Watson, right? This may be actually more explosive than that. Like when everything comes, these 30 for 30s, the next probably 5 years are going to be crazy. Idoku's a weirdo. He's just as nasty as Glenn Rivers. Like he's Glenn. He learned his ways from Glenn.
By the way, Max's comment says Doc Rivers went wild on Twitter where he liked a whole bunch of naughty porno videos. And Ime Udoka said, hold my beer. And he actually was basically making said porno type videos with a bunch of prominent staff members in the Celtics organization.
While he is having Nia Long at home. Just throwing that out.
But here's my question.
Oh, gosh.
Are we now...
Mm-hmm.
And so, from everything I've heard, I could be wrong. I may have missed a headline. Everything was at least consensual.
Mm-mm.
It wasn't.
No.
Okay.
There's so much stuff that has like basically. Yes. Thank you. Tila, I love you for what you just said. I need it to be known that when you are a person of power and you have getting jobs based on like how you look, what you bring to the table outside of your actual professional stuff. Like these women were all very good looking women and they all ended up in positions of high up in the like company. These aren't like small jobs. Player operations is not a small job for an NBA team. That's almost a 6-figure job if it's not one. Those are high paying jobs. Just to be his personal booty call on a Wednesday? Like, come on, man. Like, we can't turn a blind eye to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't. And that's where I'm fine with it because everything that I had heard, and again, I hadn't, when I put this as one of the topics, I hadn't really followed up with it because it was about to be football weekend and everything we had. I hadn't heard any of the other, like, stuff that went with it. So my question was going to be, are we really policing consensual relations? Slimeball consensual relations. But that's not what this is. This is dude literally used his dong. This is paying for sex without, using. I mean, he kind of did if he's putting them in 6-figure jobs. It's quid pro quo. Like it's what we talk about in most HR departments. Talk about quid pro quo, and it's basically giving something for something. And if you ever don't give it to me, I'm taking that thing that I gave you away. And it keeps women kind of in this place where they really never can really say what really happens. But the fact that Stephen A. Smith went off on Malika Andrews about this thing tells you how bad this thing must really be. If he went off on her on national TV in defense of these women or in slander of Ime Udoka, not only because he did it to Nia Long, I'm really mad about that. That's like the part I'm really, really mad about.
I know you are.
But, she's been my, cougar crush for a long time. But, you know what I'm saying? So, but the fact that he did it, and there's so much yet that come out, when it does finally come out, man, it's going to be crazy. Like, I'm telling you, this 30 for 30 is going to be ridiculous. And it might not even get to that.
No, I mean,
they put him on suspension for a year. That's how bad it is. That's how bad it probably is, for real, for real. They said, well, you can't even come in here for a year.
I mean, is it going to be like legal?
I would assume so because you got to think about like everything now, like ever since Me Too, is everything super publicized. And once these women's names start actually coming forward, like more of them come forward, it's going to, because it's they're going to sue the Celtics and they're going to probably sue Udoka. So there's going to be a lot of this same stuff. It's crazy. And that's the initial suspension. You know what I'm saying? That's the initial suspension.
Max is saying, saw a report that an NBA agent said Ime will never coach again in the NBA. My wife said he should have his nuts crushed. The situation is worse. We know. I don't think we've gotten the full extent that we will. And then the man won't coach again. Who was the college coach that was hiring women to sleep with kids as a pitch to come to their school? Feels very much like that. Yeah.
You know who that was, right?
No.
Oh, living the pineapple under the sea.
Edo Sharon.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
I can't with that guy. That guy sucks. That's the initial suspension. Wait until more of this comes out. The man should be banned for life. Yeah. I mean, it's gross. It's absolutely gross. By the way,
it wasn't. It didn't.
Yeah, Ed Orgeron. Who said that?
Patino. He said Patino did it. Patino did do it, but Patino did it way before Ed
Patino
Orgeron.
did gambling too.
Yeah, Patino did that, and he did the things, and then Ed Orgeron actually got caught, like on a wiretap. That's how he got caught.
Most women don't come forward because they're afraid of retaliation from a more powerful man. It's only because someone did come forward that the rest of them feel comfortable to speak up. Exactly. And that is the issue with the dude-dominated workforce that is now slowly, all these years later, finally starting to be resolved very, very, very slowly, step by step, where women are saying flat out, no, this is not okay anymore. But this has been going on for hundreds of years. First, they didn't let women work. Now they let them work, but it was under the whole idea of, like, we're watching Stranger Things right now, right? And I hadn't watched it, but just watching in the 80s how they treated a female in a male-dominated workforce was crazy to me. That was just the 80s, which was 40 years ago, by the way.
Minorities are still having problems to this day in workplaces as we speak. No pun intended.
I know. You and I were talking about that today when I was checking in on you, just seeing how you were doing.
Yeah, that's crazy. And we're 40 years, 40 years away from like a lot of this stuff. But at the same time, that's just what it is. Like, I don't envy any woman who thinks she's gonna. I really felt bad, and I don't know if this will ever happen, but I want to hear Becky Hammond's story. Like, I want to know what she had to actually go through. I mean, I know she worked for a great organization with the Spurs and Pop, but I can't.
And Pop wouldn't let anything happen to her.
Right. I just can't imagine what that would have looked like in another organization, like the Suns. Like, think about what's happening with the Suns. Like, that dude has to get rid of the team. Like, he's gonna have to sell those people.
Which we already saw happen with the Clippers.
Right. What's his name? Don something?
Whatever. Dude was a douche nugget.
That's what I'm saying. So all these owners who own these teams, I even hate calling them owners because it's like that's already BS. But people that own
that word's teams, not great.
It's not a great word. We probably need to find something else. But it is what it is. But the owners that own these teams have never really been the quite inclusive type. So it's not like
it's the rich white boys club.
Right. Yep.
And I teach U.S. history, and I literally teach U.S. history 1, which is the time when people who look like me got to make a lot of decisions and fuck everybody else, which is not okay. It never was okay.
I'll trust you.
What's that?
I trust you to make some decisions.
Right. But I just said people who look like me, not people that think like me.
Oh, fair enough. That's fair.
When will athletes and coaches stop feeling a sense of invincibility? I guess that's more of a society issue. And boy, one of our topics coming up. Please land on it. Please land on it right now. Come on.
What do you want to go land on?
Well, I mean, this is a pretty shitty story too.
I didn't hear the story, so it's going to be news to me. I'm just going to react.
So we all know that Herm Edwards, who I'm not going to say was a great NFL coach because he wasn't. But he was a good NFL coach, and he led the Jets for a couple of years, got them to the playoffs. Herm Edwards did a good job. Herm Edwards was out of football for a while, got hired as the Arizona State coach.
Mm-hmm.
Never really got a lot of success there, and was fired while coming off the field after a game.
Yep.
A couple weeks ago. It has since come out that his assistants and his college level staffers, like the guys who are in the college and they're doing stuff, were contacting the teams that they were playing about the game plans so that Herm Edwards would get fired.
Wow. That's explosive.
And totally swept under the carpet.
Okay, wait a minute. Whoa. Put that comment up by Max real quick.
So much so that you hadn't even heard it.
I mean, Penn State crap was Dossier. You thought they were really going to get away with that crap. Listen, this is the situation that some people fall into where your personal opinion can't get out of the way. God gave you an opportunity as a staffer or anything, man. Those type of jobs just don't fall into people's laps a lot of times. Those are good jobs, even to get your foot in the door. To think that you would be willing to sell that type of information or give that type of information to someone means that you're not trustworthy to ever have another job in football yourself either. If he's going to not have a job ever, then you definitely damn sure don't need one. So this is actually crazy, and that doesn't surprise me. It sounds like a lawsuit, what Max is saying, but at the same time, I think Herm Edwards is just done with it. Like, I think a lot of these black coaches and coaches that are of color who get done like this, because this isn't the only thing. Like, I'm at a place where now African American coaches are not being treated well. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just not being treated fairly. And it's not cool because at the end of the day, like, I hate saying this like this, but just because you are a white man or whatever does not make you smarter. The conversation always happens a lot of times with the athletes when they're like in skill positions, like they can't learn the offense, or it's just certain verbiage, or he just doesn't have a quarterback build.
Look at quarterbacks alone. Why is Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts and Kyler Murray and Tua, they're all athletic quarterbacks? Right? They're all athletic quarterbacks. No, they're all black quarterbacks who are winning games. But that's now the style that is the most productive. Meanwhile, Josh Allen is a pocket passer.
That's wild. And I think he's one of the most athletic guys in the league.
He's stupid athletic.
But nobody says that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody says.
You know, Rush Limbaugh got shit all those years ago because he said that they were never going to win a Super Bowl with Donovan McNabb because he's not smart enough.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just the thing. Like, honestly, let's just call a spade a spade. It's the way that they kind of put it out there. When a black coach gets a job, it's affirmative action, not because he deserved it, not because he's the better coach. It's just he's there to check a box, and they're only going to give him so much leeway. Like Willie Taggart, for example. Willie Taggart went down to Florida State. I think he might have been there a year. Well, they're still getting their face kicked in. They're having a good year there this year, but they were getting their face kicked in for 10 years after that. White and black coaches both. So it doesn't matter. It's just sometimes the culture is just bad.
You know, by the way, the rest of the Herm Edwards story, an opposing coach recently told The Athletic that it wasn't hard to get intel on this season's Arizona State team because some within Arizona State athletics wanted a coaching change.
Wow, there was a mole.
Yeah, but I look at a guy, one of my very personal favorites is a guy like Urban Myers.
Okay.
Urban Myers, with what he did, where he was literally beating players, is now rehired by Fox's college football show.
Literally was cheating on his wife. Like a couple.
If Urban Meyer was a black coach,
he'd be dead.
He would be totally obliterated in football. And yes, of course it's Fox.
I mean, fair enough. That's fair.
But you know what I mean? Like, you got to call it like it is. And the final story that is slightly controversial before we let you spend a couple minutes talking about your
I don't want to talk about those guys.
What we're going to do. So it says Brett Favre. I'm not even spinning this wheel anymore. Brett Favre kind of fits it perfectly. Hall of Fame gunslinger, pew pew, Mr. Levi Denim Jeans himself, Brett Favre.
Copperfit.
Is now was what first one?
Copperfit.
Mr. I'm going to, when I'm a quarterback for the New York Jets, send pictures of my ding-a-ling to reporters.
For sure.
And going to siphon off money. I'm going to siphon off money from welfare to give it to the Southern Mississippi University girls volleyball team where my daughter plays volleyball.
That's called nepotism for you. Those of you that at home.
And nothing's going to happen.
Listen. You cannot make this stuff up. I'm telling you.
You can.
Even if I wrote a book, a fictional book, it wouldn't be better than the real story. Have you ever heard it say, like, you're a history teacher? If we tried to write the story, make up a story, it wouldn't be better than the truth. It wouldn't be juicier than the actual truth that happened. Nothing's new under the sun. My grandma used to tell me that. Nothing's new under the sun. There have been people who have money that could donate the money that won't. Brett Favre made a killing in the NFL. He's still probably making a killing off of Wrangler jeans that are still too tight for his tight ass, and Copperfit that's old ass still out there still trying to throw footballs with Jerry Rice. but he's still making money. So to think that you would take money from welfare to build a facility for volleyball for a team that has not won national championships, it's not like they're a national championship winning volleyball program. They're like a little program down in bumfuck Mississippi. It's crazy to me. Like, it's crazy to me. That is crazy. And honestly, he should go to jail for fraudulent activity, money laundering. He should get a RICO charge like the rest of these rappers that are out here. He should get a RICO. We need to put a RICO charge on it.
So, let me ask you this.
RICO charge.
Should there be a clause when you're named to the Hall of Fame?
If you get in trouble, you can come out. Yes.
If you get in trouble or it was proven that you were an asshole during your time playing, should there be a morality clause in the Hall of Fame?
I think that there should be a clause for behavior unbefitting of a Hall of Famer that should be applied to everyone that's in the Hall, dead or alive. Like, if you go, let's say that we find out that, like, so like Jim Brown, for example. Now we know Jim Brown was involved with all this shit with Bill Cosby and Hugh Hefner at the Playboy Mansion. His ass need to come out the Hall. Like, he next. Like, he need to go.
I was literally about to say it.
Maybe
there should be a morality
clause.
clause. I like the way you phrase it. Say it again so I can get it processed in my brain. How'd you phrase what they get their ass kicked out of the Hall of Fame? Oh, actions and behavior not fitting of a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. And we should get Herschel Walker's ass too while we're at it. Like, get him too. He's got to go too.
Yo. Herschel.
He came to this thing one time. I was in the service. He came to talk to a bunch of military people about how hard his life was. And I was like, dude, don't you have millions of dollars? Get the fuck out of here. Like, that's what I was thinking. Like, get out of here, dude.
How is he allowed in the NFL stadium? Because he's never been banned from football.
And to be real with you, outside, I mean, he beat somebody's ass for stealing his memorabilia. Like, I mean, it's not really all that bad. I mean, the killing of the person.
I was about to say, the murder's not the great.
Well, Ray Lewis is still allowed to go into any building, so I'm not really sure we can say that about OJ. He was acquitted on murder charges, by the way.
He was acquitted of murder. However, the lawsuit wasn't great.
Listen, the glove don't fit. You must acquit.
Yeah, the civil suit, which proved him guilty of murder, though. So he was found. It does to his pockets.
Listen, it may, but he's still rich. He's still playing golf every day. You know what I'm saying? Those kids are still without their mother and the other guy. So that's the bad part. But let's be honest. Like, if you can't get him in court of law criminally, then it really don't matter. Because they went to a
think about it. Like, I think about a guy like Brett Favre for all the shit that he did. So you pull him out of the Hall of Fame, but he's still listed in the NFL top 100.
Oh, fair. You can't erase who a person was. I mean, unfortunately, people are gonna know. Like, they're gonna know who he is.
But they need to know the whole story.
What he was. They need to know what he was also.
Yeah. Real quick, we started with my team. We're gonna end with your team. Should there be a quarterback controversy in Pittsburgh?
There's no controversy. Just put the other dude in. Like, and I do owe somebody an apology, but I was gonna try to wait. But I guess I'll go ahead and do it. It wasn't on the list. Can I do that instead?
Do it.
So, all right. First of all, I need to offer my condolences and say I'm sorry for talking so much shit this offseason about DJ Uiagalelei. I'm a Clemson fan. I talked cash, cold, nasty, unadulterated shit about this man to the point that people thought I wasn't a Clemson fan anymore. Like, I'm very, very sorry that I have fallen by the wayside. So for everyone who was a Jalen Hurts hater, I was equally hating on DJ. I just didn't think he had it. I didn't think he had the winning pedigree. There's still some stuff I need to see. He still makes some situations happen that I'm not really that keen on. But the way that this guy had his leg pulled off from under him, it makes like a throw to take us to overtime. off a 2-point conversion was remarkable. The guys played pretty much lights out in a game that wasn't a pushover game. They played Wake hard. You know what I'm saying? I just want to be real. I can't get on Johnny. I can't get on other guys about like literally giving the guy a shot and letting them make amends. And I don't do it, even though DJ had a very, very bad season last year, like way worse than Jalen Hurts, by the way, way worse. Like, so I'm just gonna eat some crow real quick and own up. DJ, you've proven me wrong, and I stand corrected. I will allow you to be a part of our great quarterback history for the last 10 years.
Wow, you really I'm proud of you because you've embraced how to be a politician, because again, my question was, can you please talk about the state of the Steelers at this current juncture?
Listen,
you did not accept the premise of the question, and instead you just went on a 4.5-minute tirade about your Clemson Tigers. Could you please talk to me about the state of the Steelers?
We stink, man. Like, we freaking stink. You know what I'm saying, man? My guys stink. Like, and listen, it's not even. And it's not that we're not bad, but we fucking stink. Like, our quarterback can't throw the ball more than like 7 yards right now. And even when he does, he like throws it over their head or throws it out of bounds. He just wants to run so bad, but he's not really all that athletic. So like, he thinks he's Josh Allen, but he's not.
No.
He just plays one on TV.
So I know that you fall out your damn chair. So I know that your boy Mike Tomlin, he's like, no, there's no conversation. When does Kenny Pickett take over? Week what?
How many for us to have a losing season? What would we have to be?
So there's 17 games. So you would have to lose 9.
9
8.
games?
9
games? Whatever that number is when Mike Tomlin wants to not have his first losing season with Mitch Trubisky. I had my reservations and people told me to chill. Don't get upset, JD. Like, just give him a chance, JD. Like, that's what we should do. Give him a chance. All right, I did. Dude sucks. He sucks ass cheeks through a straw. And one of those double straws so you can let another person drink out of it with you. He's that guy. Like, that's who.
Wait, can he get one of the straws that has like the loops and shit in it?
Yeah, because he's got so much ash, you need to make sure you evenly distribute it throughout the straw. Yeah, dude, freaking the worst. I've never been more frustrated watching football to a team that I love my entire life. Like, I understand you guys have a real deep hatred towards like the Eagles sometimes, but like this is really a time where I literally thought about like puncturing a hole in my 75-inch TV.
Johnny says they need to start him now because the offense is killing Najee Harris's fantasy production.
Yeah, send him a letter. Line me up. Like, get behind me.
You know what it was? It's that you guys aren't Heinz Field anymore. As soon as you got rid of the ketchup, that's all you guys have been doing on the scoreboard.
We got catching up.
Playing catch up.
Wow, you're that real asshole. They make mustard too. We just can't cut the mustard right now.
That's cool. I know. You know what it is though. You relish my humor.
You know what?
All right, that's enough. Yeah. Hashtag fill her up. Sorry. So listen, we don't even have shenanigans tonight.
That was
I'm Chip. See you guys later. That's JD. Okay, bye.